Dogs for days. So many dudes. We let the dogs out, right? How did you actually come about to model at Gully?
I remember, I think I was buying stuff online, and then I think I bought like a Christmas present or something off there, like just like Ralph Lauren, like blue jumper. Yeah, and then I was followed you on Instagram, obviously, and then saw that you wanted like models.
Yeah.
And I was like, why not? Just like
Was this when we was already doing castings? Was it through a casting request?
Yeah, you put one out, and I then just sent some like digital pictures. It's something I considered before, like naturally being like quite a tall,
Had you
guy.
modelled at all before?
No, that was my first time, and I was 18 as well.
Yeah.
So it was like, I did look about 15. Cozy.
This is very cozy.
This is cozy.
This is really, really cozy, but yeah, this is the Chesterfield that we can sit down on. So I guess let's just jump into, yeah, this is actually mad when you sit this close.
It's like,
yeah. To your experience, what's it been like being on a modelling agency?
I think it's definitely a good experience. It really takes you out of your comfort zone completely. I think having gone from, well, just being like 18, having moved off to uni, and then before you know it, being on like a proper big modelling agency, it's quite a hard thing to navigate as an 18-year-old when you don't know anybody else who's like done it.
Here with Jared right now.
Hello.
When was the last time I actually saw you?
I'd say about a year ago, probably.
So the last time I saw you was about a year ago, and that was when you actually came to a shoot at Gully as well anyway, wasn't it?
Yeah, it would have been.
So yeah, that was like a year ago. And where was you in like what you was doing then? Was you still at university?
Yeah, still at uni. About to graduate this summer, but last year, yeah, still at uni. When I was home, I'd come do shoots, make a little bit of money, and also just cool job, isn't it, really?
The camera may have some big specks of rain on it, but that maybe adds to the aesthetic of it.
It doesn't even look like it's raining out here, but then it obviously like
What do you think when we used to do shoots on location and stuff? Like, did you ever have a shoot where something went terribly wrong? Like, was there ever a moment like, because at the time I tried to tell people on the videos, it's like, it was me, it was models, there would be Harvey, stylist and social media content at the same time.
Yeah.
Was there ever a time like where like we came out and it was planned and it was raining, or did we actually get lucky and not have
I think a lot of the time we'd have that many items to like shoot. I think that was the one big thing that I noticed when obviously like starting off with Gully, I think was such a good thing because it gets you used to like just shooting loads and loads of clothes and getting that like pure practice in, because you do like sometimes 150 items, which is crazy. So if you go and do like a brand, it's like 6 like shorts or t-shirts.
And that's one of the biggest issues with secondhand and vintage. People think like, if you want to use models for it, you have to wear each individual clothing. I have people before that, people gave Gully a bad name because they would come and go to agencies and say, they've made me wear 200 items of clothing, and it's like, but otherwise, how else?
It's just putting a couple of t-shirts on, isn't it? Like, when there was loads of models, photographers, didn't really get to even like know you properly.
No, because that was you. Did you come at the time when there was already different photographers? It wasn't even me doing the photography.
And we were in the other building, like round where I don't know, like,
down by the river.
Yeah. And then you obviously come in and be like me and another guy, or me and another girl. You just like rotate back and forth.
Yeah. So it was always. Did you only ever shoot with a different photographer, but 2 other people, like someone else at the same time?
Yeah, it's always someone else at the same time, and then it was always a different photographer.
For those that may or may not know watching this, but like with modelling agencies, like the premise of it is that once you're signed to them, you're like their intellectual property, and that's for all agencies.
Yeah.
And with that respect, they have the jurisdiction on other work that you may have already received. So i.e., Jared was doing Gully before being on agencies, and then as a result, like things can change. And you was only one of a handful of people within the exact same situation.
I mean, that's the thing. So obviously when I was at Gully, then I was looking at other different agencies, and I was just spoken to about like 5 or 6 different ones. And obviously when I do anything, I always do like background research, trying to learn as much about it as possible. And I knew that the key to like being successful in modeling is having like proper development and learning. And I knew, because I was coming into it so young, that there was a lot to learn.
Yeah.
So every agency I spoke to, you know, different ones would have different issues and like not take me on. Some would say it's because you're in Newcastle and you're far away from like London, where all the big brands are based. One even said to me, this is one in Manchester, they said they wouldn't take me on because my degree was too hard. Say
you'd have done like 10 different shoots for fast fashion brands,
yeah,
and you came in to do mine. Honestly, what would your perspective be after doing 10 items for like twice the amount of money and then coming to do 100? You'd probably go...
You'd be like, what the hell? Like, yeah.
Your perspective would completely change.
Yeah, completely. And I just think that, like, generally with it...
Oh my God.
Oh.
Yeah, this is... I think genuinely, stay... Oh. Sorry. This is the road that we're actually on.
That guy's
Sorry.
laughing.
Huh?
That guy's laughing. He was like, what are you doing? I think it was a model called Amy, and just none of the pictures got put out because the photographer just like had an absolute stinker, I think. Yeah.
It was a try. I think at some points I was trial and erroring with like different photographers because like when you get used to doing like the big creative aspect of it, you're like, I don't want anybody else to do it.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they do it and you go, these photos are shit.
It's almost like your baby though, isn't it? Like you've obviously grown the brand and you want to maintain its like integrity and like image.
And that's why, but like even picking models is like with an image in mind, and then when it doesn't come to life, you're kind of like, okay.
So I told them I did Mandarin and business at uni, and they're like, the guy in the interview went, oh, Mandarin's quite tricky. I don't think you'll have time. I was like, I've done it since I was at school, but it's just some like the most like rogue stuff they come out with. But yeah, it was also for me and a lot of the other guys who all started at the same time here. Before we knew it, we were snaffled up by agencies. But I remember actually with the agency that took me on, I made it very clear to them that I would like to keep doing Gullygarms. Because for me, at the end of the day, it was like, you want to make money. Like the key thing for it is a job and you actually want to make money. And it's very easy with modeling for people to glamorize it and see it. So you're traveling around, going to places, but what they don't know is you don't get paid for like 3 to 6 months after shoots. If you have to get photos done with photographers, you 9 out of 10 times have to pay for that yourself. So you're investing all this money, hoping that you're going to then get like a one-time job that then makes it all back. But then the reality of that is how many agencies are there now and how many models exist? I remember we did one with Bob as well, and that was like, we almost we put us like twins almost in all like these preppy like outfits on like the leather sofa.
Yeah.
That was a...
Oh, of course you are, bro. Do you think? No worries. Yeah.
I remember that was a good one, to be fair. I remember like that one got me ripped in the group chat a bit because it just looks so like similar. It's like...
Just for reference at this point, I don't actually have or can't locate at the moment the photos of Bob and Jared. So I've just put 2 different shoots here, one with Bob and Ruby and Jared. Now, we were A/B testing models at a lot of different points. I don't know if I've kind of like spoke on this at this point. It doesn't really matter, but yeah, we used to A/B test similar people to see who would be successful for selling online. There was that thing of like same but different. I think sometimes with like the creative aspect, from my standpoint, because it was like being in rush hour all the time. It was like loads of different models, loads of different photographers, and I was just like when I saw you, I was like, I knew the look you had was gully for what I was doing, considering everybody else. But when there was like so many different models, so many people, it was like essentially, like say you and Bob, 2 very similar people. Hopefully at this point there can be a photo. Like, it was almost like realistically, for that standpoint, you just pick one person. Yeah. You wouldn't really go with 2 that look the same, and I think that's like...
Well, that's the main thing when you go with like agencies, it's like they'll be like, we've already got someone like you that's developed. Sometimes I might take like 2 of you on who look the same, and it's almost like a battle then to like see who's gonna be like long-haired look or that like...
You can look on an agency and go, oh, there's 10 people that look like me. Yeah. There's already 10 people that I've got to compete with.
I mean, this is the weird thing as well. Sometimes when you do go with agencies, it's like they want people that all look the same. Yes. But then you finally get there, and then it almost like shoots you in the foot because it's like the person that's well established and already shot for their like clients is always going to get the nod over you.
I think what's blown that one into a different sort of proportion now is things like TikTok. It's just the way that like the social media is like that integration of now. When we was using it before, it was like finding a model who looked good and would fit the clothes, but then in the like re-adaptation of it now, it's like, no, I've got to find a guy who looks good but also has maybe 10k followers that he's happy to post on his story, inclusive of that agreement. So a lot of like agencies looked at that. Would you ever like, have you ever been in a situation where they've asked you how many followers you've got?
I mean, when you go on like the model like page on their website, it literally does state how many like followers they have below. And I don't know whether that's some kind of like marketing like ploy for them when they want to attract brands. But I remember I was on TikTok one time and some model like guy put a video up and he just finished uni and he said, hi guys, I really want to go into like fashion and modeling like full time now. But my agency has said to me, I need to blow up on TikTok more. You know, he'd done like an engineering degree and didn't want to do it, but the premise was that he had to basically blow up on TikTok for them to like keep him on. So he was making like outfit videos, like dancing and just stuff, and it's like
doing stuff that was out of their natural.
But it's like, I just think the key thing is like you just want someone that looks cool in the clothes and does it. Because I don't know, for me personally, I'm not gonna buy an item of clothing off a certain brand because our guy on TikTok was wearing it. I don't know if that's just me personally in the way I view buying clothes.
I think like,
but
I
don't know, because a lot of the time, obviously the big agencies, the people are like huge, like they've got millions of followers. But if you're like on a smaller agency and essentially a micro influencer, I don't know, mate, it just...
But it's like that habitat of you look at like something like a Storm Agency and like those ones that have had like, you know, wherever like maybe Cara Delevingne or people like this, like certain people like Jason Statham being on certain model agencies, like that like caliber is
His
like...
Stone Island stuff is so sick, by the way. Have you seen him in like Stone Island and like proper...
No.
He did a thing with Stone Island. And he just looks so cool. Like, it's just crazy.
Well, we're going to hopefully put some pictures on the screen
get him.
now.
He's got like some of the trench coats on. He looks like a football hooligan, but like in like a good way though.
Yeah. So when you actually came for your first shoot and experiencing that, what was like the genuine thought process after you actually did it?
I mean, I thought it was cool. I mean, it was like something then I obviously like wanted to do more. I remember like the night before watching a YouTube video like how to like pose for like pictures and stuff.
Really? Did you do the mirror sort?
Yeah, I didn't do it not in the mirror or anything. We had like no idea. So it's like, I don't know, like play with like your rings or just like doing different stuff, because I don't know, what you don't learn it, do you? Like having your picture taken.
No.
Unless I was like having one for like Instagram or something. But yeah, I mean, it was nerve-wracking. Like it was like, yeah. Because I think a lot of time when you do something like that, it's a little bit out there.
Of course it is.
You're worried what people are going to think, like perception. But I think doing that then like completely changed my like perspective on everything. And I was like, just do what you want, doesn't matter. I think once you've taken that first step in anything, it was quite a big thing.
They normally say that on the other side of the fear is that sort of like liberation. And once
because then it's like, then I started doing more music stuff. There was just
confidence
whatever I wanted to do. Then I just like did it.
Finding someone who looks cool in the clothes. Jason Statham might be like this big movie actor that started from this premise, but they're like the principle is still the same despite all that noise. It's like you find somebody who looks cool in the clothes.
And they want to like, essentially their key thing they want to do is market you for like a certain look. And I found, obviously when I was with my agency before, I had like super long hair, obviously different to this now. And they tried to market me as like a bit of like a surfer type. Of
course.
So that was the kind of brands I was getting sent out to.
You must have known that that was going to be the way that they were going to...
Yeah, I thought so. But then at the time, being where I was up north, like that wasn't really like, I don't know how many surfers you see kind of about Newcastle, Manchester, like Liverpool and Leeds, you know?
maybe not.
But yeah, that was the look they went for, and then they ended up taking on this guy. Obviously I sort of had that like young, surfery sort of look, just long hair, bit tan, whereas this other guy they then brought in was like a lot older, proper full-on long beard, long hair. Like he looked like he lived in the sea. Like he lived in a cave on the beach and then just like went out and surfed. So I was like, right, there's my business gone.
Escape from a shell on the beach.
Yeah.
A lot of people that will get paid to be in front of the camera, like there's a lot of like ego that you have to control. How is it like controlling that side of like, I know I'm attractive because somebody's paying me because of how I look, but also how can I maintain still being the same person?
I think for me, because I was quite young, so I'm 22 now. I started when I was 18. I literally just turned 18, fresh out of school, just been like COVID. So I think the problem for me was I didn't change my perception on myself, but I think how people perceive you is very different. I mean, we live in like a digital age now where I've just then gone to uni. People know you through like Instagram or like social media, and they see like modelling stuff and think, oh, he's probably like up himself a bit, and you almost having to prove people wrong sometimes.
Something I've like kind of lived by recently as well is like you know Casey Neistat, who's like the New York video blogger, and he was on Stephen Bartlett's podcast, and he kind of said like, once you realise that nobody cares, you kind of feel like creatively liberated. So it's like in your state of mind, it's like nobody...
I remember seeing that. It's like everyone, we all seem to assume that everyone's always like running what we're doing, watching what we're doing, but like everyone's so engrossed in their own like life and their own like stuff they've got going on.
Yeah, because they're caring about what they're doing.
Yeah, and it's like, and so what if someone thinks something's a bit like cringy, or you're like, someone just makes you a bit weird, like...
They only think it for a moment before...
Then they go on TikTok and they forget. Like 5 seconds later, so...
We're in the brain rot, digital dementia era.
Life, pretty much.
Mental.
Yeah.
It's good to see you, and all the best for that.
You too.
Yeah.
It's good to be back.
In this very close-spaced...
Back at Gully HQ.
Gully HQ there. Over the course of these videos and over the course of the time, things are going to change, and everything's going to keep changing and evolving, and excited by the process. No, thank you for your time, man.
No worries, bro.